Pope Leo XIV just threw direct shade at Donald Trump in front of the entire world by calling for an end to Trump's favorite pastime. The humiliating moment I have coming up for you in just a second came during the pontiff's first press conference with journalists, where the pontiff gave a message that was clearly directed at Trump. And no, it wasn't about Trump posting a picture of himself as the Pope, even though he clearly posted the wrong one. I'm Kenny Hess for Really American, and for every like and subscribe on this video, a MAGA Christian that definitely would have been the people persecuting Jesus gets condemned to eternal damnation. Now, we'll get to the first American Pope humiliating the worst American president in just a moment, but if that last joke sounded a little harsh to you, then I have some breaking news that might change your mind. Because even as the Pope peacefully protests Trump's vitriolic hate, a long-term Trump ally just made a vicious threat against the new Pope. Trump ally and MAGA wet rat Steve Bannon, seen here immediately after someone told him he needed to take a shower, has been no fan of the newly elected Pope Leo XIV, and he had an ominous message for him today. According to Newsweek, Bannon said of the new Pope, quote, "It's shocking to me that a guy could be selected to be the Pope that had the Twitter feed and the statements he's had against American senior politicians, and that there will definitely be friction between the two of them." Bannon even referenced Trump's rocky relationship with Leo's predecessor, Pope Francis, who is widely regarded as one of the most progressive modern popes and was frequently critical of anti-immigrant movements. Which is no surprise, considering that Bannon himself sought to undermine Francis's influence in America by elevating an ultra-right-wing cardinal, Raymond Burke. A cardinal who at the time was waging war against Pope Francis. But the most diabolical part came when Bannon said this. Well, remember, President Trump was not shy about taking a shot at Pope Francis. So if this Pope, which he will do, tries to come between President Trump and his implementation of the mass deportation program, I would stand by. And that word choice is clearly a dog whistle callback to Trump's infamous instruction during the 2020 election to far-right paramilitary groups like the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. Which is insane, because to anyone with a brain, that sounds like a Trump ally telling his minions to be ready to insurrect the Vatican or assassinate the Pope. And that is not only insane, but the irony and timing could not have been crazier either. Because Pope Leo used his first papal press conference today to call for an end to the kind of aggressive and divisive rhetoric favored by President Donald Trump and his administration, saying we do not need loud, forceful communication, but rather communication that is capable of listening and of gathering the voices of the weak who have no voice. And he said this to a room of over 1,000 journalists gathered at the Vatican. Speaking in Italian, the Pope invited the audience to, quote, disarm communication of all prejudice and resentment, fanaticism, and even hatred, saying, let us free it from aggression. And though the newly elected pontiff did not mention Trump or the US government by name, his words were deeply relevant to the administration's communication style. I mean, hell, folks, Trump's own administration had to stop him from calling Biden the R word. And on top of all that, Trump literally just posted this to Truth Social last night about the Qatari bribe of a jet that he's getting, saying, so the fact that the Defense Department is getting a gift of a free charge of a 747 aircraft to replace the 40-year-old Air Force One temporarily in a very public and transparent transaction so bothers the crooked Democrats that they insist we pay top dollar for the plane. Anybody can do that. The Dems are world-class losers, MAGA. Clearly just spewing more hate and vitriol into the world and deflecting over what is a clear bribe that he plans on making part of his own personal private jet collection via a tax loophole. And look, while I am very happy that there is a world leader, a world faith leader calling these things and Donald Trump and his administration out, I don't know that MAGA conservative Christians are going to listen to anything he says. But all that aside, I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts about this whole situation? Do you think the Pope's comments move the needle? Are you happy to see Trump get humiliated yet again on the world stage? Let me know down in those comments below. And while you're there, drop a like and subscribe to keep the really American resistance alive. Thank you to all of you who have done so far. Help us hit 1 million strong so we can fight back against this tyranny, corruption, and hate. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hess, and I'll see you all in the next one.